Welcome, Chakra Collective, to another empowering episode of Chakras and Cuss Words, where we blend spiritual insight with a dose of real talk. Whether you're here to deepen your chakra knowledge, explore the cosmos, or you just need a place to vibe with like-minded souls, you're in the right space. Let's dive into today's journey of energy, empowerment, and a little bit of cosmic chaos. I am so glad you're here. Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to a Chakras and Cuss Words podcast. If you are new here, where have you been? What have you been doing? And we are glad that you are here. So welcome back. My name is Catherine. I am the podcast host of Chakras and Cuss Words podcast. And today we are going to get all into the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. This energy feels beautiful. It just feels like an area of reflection and transformation and balance when we look at that Libra energy. So we are currently in Libra season. For anybody who's confused what season we are in the sign of the Libra, the scales. Not the scales like the fish scales, but the scales in what weighs everything out. What weighs out that balance, what weighs out that area of movement, what weighs it all out. And we're getting ready to have a powerful, magical, cosmic, beautiful event known as the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. This is about renewal. It's on October 2nd at 2024, and it's occurring at 2:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are on the East Coast, well, that's your time, babe. If you're anywhere else, please look up your time of occurrence. And this is our second eclipse of the season. So once we start with the first, it's like, okay, we're headed on to eclipse season. But once we are fully into the second eclipse, it's a for sure thing. It's not going anywhere. So we are in eclipse season. And this moon is potent, like potent. And this new moon is in 10 degrees of Libra. And 10 degrees, in all honesty, speaks wisdom. It speaks transformation. It speaks renovation, and it speaks renewal. It's especially speaking to the area of relationships. And it's funny because when I think of relationships, I always think, and it's weird because I always think of Venus and I always think of Libra, but I don't necessarily think of Taurus as much because I feel like Taurus resembles more of the energy of finances and wealth, but Libra, babe, that's fucking all about relationships. Like when I think of Libra energy is like about harmony. It's about partnerships. And it's about seeing what really balances and equals out to why the fuck am I here? Why am I in this relationship with you? And sometimes that energy encourages us to speak down in the solar center, encouraging us to restore our equilibrium, restore our area of balance. You know, when you get a little like too drunk or a little bit too tipsy or like a little dizzy and you're off balance? Well, this new moon solar eclipse might be what you need to sit your ass down. Sit down, girl, sit down and look at it for what it really is. And let's talk about the energy of 10, okay? Because 10 when we look at the area of 10, it always kind of minutes down to 1 in the numerologist type of stance. But when we look at it on a spiritual aspects of astrology and the degrees, in astrology, it represents the specific location of the planet. Luminary, the sun, the moon, the Saturn, whatever the fuck it is, the ascendant, the midheaven, it's basically in that sign, and it's in that sign of 10. Each sign of the zodiac covers to 30 degrees. So it should never get like higher than 30. If somebody's like, girl, you got a Saturn and 40, you're like, bitch, what? So each 12 signs make up of 360 degrees of a circle. And of that circle is of the zodiac wheel. The planet or the point, because we could also have our midheaven or our ascendant or our, energy of the dark moon Lilith, provides an additional meaning to interpretation of the birth chart. And when it's at 10 degrees, it's kind of seen as an area that feels to be centered around completion. So with this area of eclipse, with this area of solar new moon eclipse, it's going to ask you, what was your completion? What was your focus? What was your leadership? And how did it all point out to you? It carries association with action and responsibility. It can indicate a point where the energy of the sign or planet involved starts gaining maturity. Okay, that's deep. Because a lot of times when we're dealing with relationships, there's a chance one partner might be immature, or that partner just doesn't know what they want. And it's not necessarily a good or a bad thing, but in all honesty, it is an honest thing. If you ever have somebody and they're like, I just don't know what I want, that means they possibly don't want to be in a relationship. And you have to set that individual free. And it is a hard pill to swallow. It's a very hard pill to swallow. But anybody who doesn't know if they necessarily want to be aligned with you means it's time for you to move on. Move on, girl. Or guy, move on. Because you want somebody and you deserve somebody who absolutely 100% knows what they want, and that is you. That's being with you, spending memories with you, creating memories with you, creating energy around love with you, surrendering to the divine existence of being in your atmosphere. But if you ever are in a relationship and they're like, I don't know what they want. I don't know what I want. And some people do think that, like, they don't know what they want. And I kind of get that. But then there's a point where you're like, well, if you don't want me, then why should I want you? But let's continue. The 10th degree is an area of purpose and drive. So if you have been conflicted in your purpose and drive, do not create a ritual. Do not create a manifestation. Just relax and listen to your strong initiation and intuition of what you need to reflect on. You guys know me. I don't set huge manifestations around eclipse season. I just don't. I mean, I go with the movement, I go with the flow, but to create like a huge actual ritual or spell during eclipse season, just to me seems like a waste, because it's asking you to look at the shadow. It's asking you to look at that presence. The 10th degree, it's a connection with the cardinal energy of Libra, especially. And it's interesting. Of course, we are having this new moon in Libra, but this is an energy that emphasizes on pure existence and also the most authentic space and the qualities that you are in. The energy of the Libra is based on fairness, balance, and a lot of social movement. It's about caring for others. It's also about seeing what's right and what's not right. And if somebody's stringing you along in a relationship, that's not right. And as the cardinal energy, even if you are or not a cardinal sign, but as the cardinal energy, this is your time to make the next move. After you reflect fully and seen that this initiation is appropriate. But this is a time that you are going to put action first. And when we are putting action first, we have to remember that we are stepping into a new horizon. So make sure you are aware of what it is that you are truly doing. 10 degrees also symbolizes the canoe, as some people would put it, to approaching the safety of I guess you could say, unterritorial circumstances or dangerous waters. This is the image that speaks of overcoming challenges and navigating through the complex of situations. A lot of time, people don't see the situation as a benefit because it feels wrong, it feels hard, it feels uncomfortable. I don't like it. The relationship, the balance, the harmony is breaking. And then what do? What you do is you reflect and you move forward. The impact of the 10th degree in the solar eclipse in Libra is upcoming with this new moon. And there's areas that we are going to see powerful moments of change, and we're also going to want to initiate a new cycle, especially with relationships. Relationships, me, you, and whoever is your boo is the main focus. Okay, in all honesty, it's just you and your boo. I don't want to be the third wheel. Ugh, third wheels are yucky and ugh. It's just a weird complex. But no, it's you and your boo and whatever you guys are going through. And really take that time to look at the new cycle of the relationship, what areas of social dynamics, and perhaps even areas of tension that has been building. So, how can I put this simply? If you are in a relationship, look at the energy of what has been creating and do it in an area that's not threatening. And also do it in an area that feels safe to you and your partner. Look at this area that feels like reflective, but also understand that there's a new dynamic towards change that will be coming towards soon after eclipse season. But look at this more as a reflective partnership. For the meantime, during this eclipse, we have to remember that if you have personal planets or points near 10 degrees, and especially if you are a cardinal sign, or if this degree is occurring in a cardinal sign, such as Aries, Cancer, and Libra, or Capricorn, this energy might feel a little bit more intense. You may feel the effects of this eclipse more strongly. But don't run away. We haven't even got started. In all honesty, eclipses are about dynamic change while you aren't creating new intentions. It's really focused on where do you want to see the change begin? And that is the first step. So this eclipse, to me, when I look at it, it's potent. It's transformative, like most eclipses. And it's centered about renewal. It's also centered around shadow work. I would hate for you to lose and use this energy on everything but you. A solar eclipse is about seeing that shadow of reflection in the interpersonal space. We also have to remember that this eclipse will be fully visible in countries such as Argentina or Chile, and also Hawaii, the Antarctic, and Pacific Islands. But definitely look up where this eclipse is affecting you and your area of location, and see how you can expect breakthroughs and awakenings towards your powerful new beginning as the universe nudges you. It's like giving you a nudge. It's like, go, bitch, go. And it nudges you towards growth and spiritual evolution. I once thought that when I was going to evolve, whatever my evolution is, it was going to be easy, right? Evolution is never easy. It feels uncomfortable, and it also feels uncomfortable to people who are around you. That's okay. Evolve anyway. In this episode, we will definitely look at the astrological themes of this new solar eclipse. And of course, always, I will do a quick little reading. But in all honesty, what does what does the solar eclipse speak to you as the energy of it being placed in Libra? Justice. I want you to pull out your tarot deck. And if you don't have a tarot deck, then I just want you to write down these words. Okay? Justice. Justice. As the card that represents Libra, justice reminds us to seek balance and fairness in our relationships. This eclipse may reveal where we've been out of alignment and how we can restore this harmony in both our inner and outer worlds. The Lovers. Pull out that card. Look at it. Really indulge yourself. Or if you aren't pulling out a card, then write the words The Lovers. The Lovers, in all honesty, highlights the theme of relationships. The Lover in the tarot deck, when that card is pulled, don't tell me you don't get a tingle. Everybody does. Everybody feels like this area where you're like, oh yes, the Lovers. It is centered around the theme of relationships, and it encourages us of choices of alignment with our highest values. This eclipse may bring clarity and important decisions towards not only our interpersonal area, but also our area of relationships, particularly around commitment. Commitment is such a strong word. It's like such a strong word. Commitment, meaning I'm with you, you're with me, and we are committed to each other. Partnerships and personal integrity. I will say, if you are never committed to one spouse, to one energy source, please don't get married. Getting married is the most sacred ritual ever. You are pronouncing your love and your commitment. And depending what your commitment looks like, it varies, right? But you are definitely acknowledging that you're committed to this energy, this other individual, this spirit, this love for a very, very fucking long time. No, just joking. For a long ass time. A marriage should not ever take place unless both partners have fully thought of the circumstances and the areas of integrity that is aligned in the commitment. Marriage is deep, guys. It's not just like this little thing. You're like, let's get married on a Saturday and divorce by a Monday. Unless you're Britney Spears, that shit does not work. Okay? Also, another card that might make you feel really uncomfortable to pull out is the Death card. And let's just sit there for a second. Death is something that is guaranteed to all of us. I hate to be the party pooper, but it is. And no matter how much you think that you are out of this world or you are immortal, the chances of death either happening to you or happening to people around you is a fucking extreme possibility. That was one of the things that my father has always taught me. And as kooky, creepy, and a little spooky as that might seem, is death is something that's guaranteed. Okay. Love isn't guaranteed. Money isn't guaranteed. But birth and death in this lifespan is fucking guaranteed. So let's continue. Pull out this card and look at it. Take a good look, or just write the name, the word death. A card of transformation and renewal. The death signals the end of an old cycle, such as the eclipse season or this solar eclipse in Libra. And with every death comes a new one, a new birth, a new element, a new energy. This eclipse may push us, like get down to the kneecaps and push us to let go of old and outdated patterns that embrace us and that hold us capture. And it's asking us to look at a new way. One last card I want you to look at. One last card. I promise. One last card. And if you're into like tarot journaling, let me know in the comments and I might be able to like get out some podcasts that are structured around tarot and tarot journaling. The Emperor. The Emperor representing the structures and authority. The Emperor reminds us to take control of our own destiny. Our own destiny is up to us, right? Our own destiny, our firm foundation, our root chakra energy is up to us. How do we set the movement to our foundation and the changes ahead? Of course, we all need that solar plexus chakra to open us up and like really get us like all moving and give us in that area of power. But we have to have that root chakra stability, that area of foundation that steps us into the next step of seeing our passion, seeing our awareness, seeing our movement of creativity, and letting it all flow together. The Emperor is a very dynamic card because it lets us see much more than just success. It allows us to see what got the Emperor to that throne. So let's look at the area of what it is that we are going to create. I will be honest. I want you to create most of this energy centered around intentions of reflection. But there are a lot of tribes and indigenous generations who have focused on deep reverence towards interpreting and also using the eclipse energy to bring a cosmic balance. So the indigenous and Cherokee tribe believed that a giant frog would sometimes attempt to swallow the sun during an eclipse. And they would drum and sing and make loud noises. And that would be to like scare away this energy. So what this speaks to me when I am looking at the area of movement towards reflection is saying what it is, using that throat chakra energy and saying what it is that is no longer bound to you, releasing it. Also in the areas of the movements of different tribes, we have the Mayan civilization of the ancient Mayan culture. And they believed that the solar eclipses were seen as a time of danger. But in all honesty, we've had so many solar eclipses. Please do not focus on danger, fear, or self-doubts. just focus on the area of reflection, but their areas would be focused more on rituals, the rituals of protection. Many Mayans often performed rituals of protection from their rulers and areas to keep the population aligned from what they believed was a cosmic battle of invasion of dark forces. They would offer prayers and sacrifices, sometimes actually getting really down and dirty with those sacrifices, depending on what it was that they were focused on. But I wouldn't necessarily do a full-on sacrifice, but you can always do an offering. I mean, why sacrifice a little innocent spider or a ladybug? Let's just do an offering and offer that energy of abundance and offer that energy of renewal and balance to the ancestors or to the sun, right? And offerings can include, especially during this time, I would think anything citrus, and I would also think of some energy of flowers and something that feels a little bit more restorative. I mean, if you really want to capture a spider, go ahead, but I haven't used a spider in such a long time, but you do you, boo. Sacred calendar and prophecies is something that Mayans definitely were emphasized on. The Mayans were all about their calendar. And this is actually a good time for you to look at that reflective space on what it is that you want to reflect on and do next, and kind of get a strategy. If that's going pumpkin carving for this fall season, if that's having more social events, or if that's kind of being aware on days that you could set aside for painting, artwork, journaling, or investing towards relationships and areas of reflection. So do your calendar up. I love those girls who walked around. Do you remember that time and era where girls would walk around with a big ass planner, and that planner was hella big, and then they would highlight certain days, and they would make all this kooky and crazy stuff and put stickers on their planner, and their planner just looked like a piece of art. Now, if that's what you want to do, by God, do it. I mean, nobody's going to hold you back. That sounds like an area that would appease any god, especially the god of eclipses. But in all honesty, now everything's on your fucking phone, so you could just update your calendar there. I have a big calendar that I like to look at. I still like to look at the big calendars. I don't know. It might be because I'm a Gen X. I'm 10 decades ahead of you. Or behind you all, but it's something I like to look at, write at. But the Incas. Okay, so the Incas were centered more around the energy of danger that the eclipses brought, and a lot of times they would do a little bit of spooky shit. And when I mean spooky shit, I mean kind of crazy and a little bit kooky, such as human and animal sacrifices. Now, I know some people practice Santeria, and they do still do some sacrificial type ceremonies, but depending on what it is that you want to sacrifice, I'm going to personally tell you right away, I'm going to say a no to animals, and I'm going to say a no to humans. Definitely a big no to humans. But in these areas, it would be to prevent a catastrophe, to prevent that eclipse energy, that feel sudden. And they would believe that the priests who were in charge of the ceremonies would just find a willing goat or woman, most likely a virgin, to kind of sacrifice, as their areas of offering. But let's not concentrate on that. Let's concentrate on what it is that you can sacrifice on your own interpersonal beliefs that would allow you to burn it away. Especially in the area of Libra, you want to kind of let that air movement go away. So for instance, I would write something that maybe I've been holding on to, And I would write it. And remember, you always fold it away from yourself. Also, you can put a little bit of cinnamon and protection on your tongue when you speak these areas of what it is that you are letting go of, and then you burn it away to the sky, to the cosmos. And that can be seen as an area of sacrifice for the sun to hold its honor in areas of movement. We all know that the Aztecs were very much centered on areas of rising and not rising again when it came into the energy of the sun. But when we are looking at paying tribute to the sun, we're not going to do any crazy rituals like the Incas or the Aztecs used to do, even though we are in touch with our ancestors. But we are going to pay homage to using the area of safe return back to the cosmos. So that means strengthening your own practices of offerings or sacrifices, such as incense, smokes, fruits, food, even water. Water is a big one. A lot of times, if you could just speak your pure intentions into the water and give it to the ancestors will fully reflect and pay homage to that. And invoke the divine intervention of understanding that everything doesn't have to be so downright spooky, even though we are in the month of October. So when we are seeing the Australian Aboriginal cultures, there's a few that stand out to me in centers of interaction with the cosmos. One of the spiritual reflections that a lot of the Australian indigenous population used to do is be centered around death and clearing the way of the old and saying hello to the new, and using that area of transformation and change within certain tribes to really be focused on the importance of that ancestor's memory to live on. It kind of reminds me of Dias los Muertos, but different because it is with Australian indigenous tribes. And also there was a woman's ritual. And I love the feminine energy where folks and groups would be focused on gathering on performing specific rituals during the eclipses that included singing, conducting ceremonies, and bringing harmony not only to the spiritual journey, but also to the women who are present at that moment. In Polynesian cultures, and I just got back from Maui, I love the beautiful aspects of the Polynesian cultures. There was rituals centered around offerings to their gods. So as we see here, the theme is centered around offerings and ensuring that the sun would return. When we look at the sun in an astrology type of stance, that is about growth. So staying centered, and also saying our energies of centered, but understanding that the sun, the grower space, the creator space will return. A lot of times this was invoked with chants, especially in the Polynesian culture, where they would use like seashells or areas of concept of blowing horns. This was specifically centered around the throat chakra and also centered around sound frequency. So we're going to want to look at special chants or affirmations or even prayers that keep us centered around movement that honor our ancestors, deities, gods, cosmos, or whatever it is that is enticing you to create a ritual. That could be the sun or the moon or the stars, invoking their areas of protection and support during this cosmic imbalance. And let's continue in areas of the main focus for this eclipse: restoration, protection from the shadow, but also understanding that there is offerings and respects of the shadow and energies of harmony that we have to pay tribute to. Seeing that everything isn't exactly how we planned out for it to be, and understanding that with solar eclipses, we are seen as a movement in the areas of significant change and is often leading to spiritual or social transformations within us and also within the atmosphere of where we're surrounded. Let's get into the reading, friends. Okay, so quick reading for the Aries. I want you to be centered around reflection, but you do you, boo. I'm not trying to live your life during eclipse season. I'm just here to pull some cards. And for the fire signs, we have, if you are Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, this is for you. Also, the deck I am using is one of my favorites, Light Seers Tarot deck, and also the Divine Feminine Oracle deck. For the fire signs, let's make a fucking decision. Okay? Let's make a decision. You've been hangman for way too long. I see the big decision is occurring, but I also see that it's a time that you need to just reflect on this during this eclipse and then let it go and then be like, this is my fucking decision. This is my decision. When we have the hangman, a lot of times there's more than what I can tell you. It's what you can tell yourself. So understand that I am just a messenger, but you already know what it is that you are supposed to do, what it is that you are centered to do, what it is that you need to do, and just fucking do it. Even if it hurts, just do it. And then also this is a time for you to look at that energy of nourishing and also and balance that divine mother aspect of you. See the presence of absence and also see the presence of judgment. So if you're making a decision, since we are talking about the Libra and a solar eclipse in Libra, it's making me think about relationships and areas of judgment. This is a hard one because a lot of us judge ourselves, but also sometimes our loves partners judge us well. And we have to remember that it's not for them to judge, it's for us to understand. And they can judge, but that doesn't mean that their judgment will stay with us. We have to learn to release that energy and continue to move forward in what be right for us. Because let's be honest, there's so many things about my husband or about my partner or about other people that I wish I could change, but I can't. Does that mean that I need to continue to judge them? Not necessarily. Does that mean that I don't care for them? Not necessarily. Does that mean that I want to move them? Not necessarily. It just means there's certain things about them I don't understand, but as long as they are happy, I should be happy, right? As long as you're happy, I'm happy. What you like, I like. If you like that, I like that. For you, that doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to do that. And I think that speaks volume in a lot of relationships, not just love relationships, but also friendships. For the water signs, if you are a water sign, or if you are centered around water, you're like a water stellium, that means that you have your sun sign or a lot of fucking planets in Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. So this card is a card you should have already pulled up, the Death card. Don't get your panties in the bunch. But this is reflecting on you. This is also saying what it is of secrets, what it is of energy that you need to reflect on, that you are going to dead in this situation. Goodbye. This is really of interpersonal space. I used to think that sometimes the Death card always meant that you were ending a relationship, But now that I've gone older, wiser, I see that it's more about saying goodbye to like certain mechanisms and coping skills, and also certain balances that you need to say adios, goodbye, muchacho. We are no longer together, and let that energy speak volume. Also, look at the light of what comes to the new beginning after you say goodbye to that fucking leech, dusty, or bad traits that you've been holding on to. And it is a little brutal, but you can do it. Also, this is a time to realize that once you say goodbye to these energies, you are fully aligned in your area of abundance, and you're fully aligned in your energy of wealth and what it is that it means for you to be involved in movement, to be involved in creation and making more center around you. For the next set of element, we have the, what do we call these little fuckers? Earth signs. We have the earth signs. If you are an earth sign, you are a Virgo, Capricorn, or you are a Taurus. And this is telling you you're in the right direction. You're in the right field. It's 9 of Wands. So you're probably feeling really nestled and centered around celebration of movements. But also you will need to be centered around what's the next step. Because you've been doing good. You've been doing good. But bitch, I need you to do fucking a little better. And I need you to like see that with every completion, and this is really what this 10 degrees in Libra is speaking about, with every completion comes a new journey. Like you're not just done yet. Sorry. You're going to have to look at where it is that you want to fully feel aligned, fully know you moved past, and fully continue to move forward. Also, I want you to understand that there's a part of you that really takes up the space of miracles. You really are centered around magic and understanding that all possibilities are abundant, and there's an awareness about you that can move, shake, fucking break up mountains. Like, girl, you are that bitch. Or man, you are that dude, but you do it, and you do it quite well. But you are not done. So reflect a little bit more, give a little bit more, and keep going. Keep going. It's funny with eclipse seasons. I always want to be like, yes, yes, yes. But we have to remember, reflection equals to transformation. Oh, darling. Okay, our next lovely element is the, what do you call those little guys? Oh, the masculine energy of the air signs. Air signs. 10 swords. 10 swords. 10 swords, to me, when I see 10 swords, it means reflecting on what it is that you've accomplished, what it is that you've had to deal with. And if you are an air sign, you are an Aquarius, you are a Gemini, you are a Libra. So Libra, clear out that fucking wax. I'm talking to you, bitch. But really, you are the individual that really needs to understand that sometimes life is not what we planned it to be. There's makeups, there's breakups, sometimes there's makeups, and it works out, and sometimes there's breakups and they break up. But understanding that what it is that you see on this horizon, you'll continue to grow. Use that energy of lessons, and it's so hard to learn lesson from an old relationship. I mean, I feel like somebody like me, in all honesty, shouldn't give any type of relationship or dating advice, because I have been with my significant man, my man. I've been with my man for a very fucking long time. Have we had problems? Absolutely. Have there been times I felt like, I could never look at you again? 100%. Has there been times where I wanted to just give up on everything? Yeah, 100. But for whatever reason, and I'm going to tell you the truth, there's been no like rhyme or reason behind it, but we just really like each other's company, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I could be like, oh, because I love him so much and the way he looks at me, his eyes glisten. But in all honesty, we just really get along really well. And I would have a very, very hard time imagining my life with somebody else. But I don't know dating. I haven't dated ever. The only person I really dated was like, yeah, him. So it's very hard for me to give like dating advice when people ask me dating advice. Follow the young girls for that shit, okay? Don't follow me because I've been with the same fucker for a long time. But anyways, I want you to see that with all relationships, with all energy of willpower, there comes a time where you have to look at that significance and you have to throw it all away in centers of moving forward and saying goodbye to what it is that holds you back from being fucking great. And sometimes that's hard because you don't even know what your great is, but look at it in the face and say, you know what? It was a lesson. It was a movement. It was an energy. And I learned something. I learned who I do not want to be with. What I want in a man that is different from this one, right? Look at that energy. And when we are looking at the divine feminine is a cosmic egg. The energy of our space of moving new chapters, having new beginnings, creating life. I mean, yeah, men kind of create life, but they don't create life like the feminine. They don't create life like the divine feminine. Nobody creates life like us. And understanding that we are centered around the universal codes. Without a woman, none of this shit would fucking matter. I mean, what would it be? A freaking hot-ass dumpster fire mess. In all honesty, we are the force of understanding that energy surrounding love. Men don't love like we love. Men don't nourish like we nourish. And it's not about men against women. It's about understanding that divine feminine has its place. That divine cosmic energy has its balance and being one with your cosmic alignment. I will say, I just came up with the cutest little saying today. And it was basically a soft girl in her villain era is fucking dangerous. Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because a soft girl who has been pushed to her area of masculinity, there's a lot of women who are just a little bit masculine. I'm a little bit masculine. But a soft girl who's naturally soft, naturally feminine, all this is like easy for her. And then she's pushed into that masculine energy is fucking dangerous because she sees how fucking powerful she is. So regardless of your zodiac, regardless of your element, if you are a soft girl and you've been pushed to your villain era, bitch, enjoy it. Love it. Move from it. Learn from it. Reflect from it. You own it. You love it. You are it. And I love you guys. Everybody have an amazing solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Libra at 10 degrees. And don't forget to like, share, and send me a little rate. 5 stars would be nice because it helps me move up the podcast ladder and it also helps me find people who love this type of content. So if that's you, hit the follow, subscribe button, and also share this with your witchy bestie. Fun little thing. I have a new video vlog out in my trip of Maui that is on my channel, Nurse Love 101, where you can find all my vlogs and cooking content. So everybody have an amazing day, and I will see you guys around. Bye.